They thought they could manipulate the system, pull strings, and control outcomes. But they didn't realize who they were up against. Not just another person in their game, not another name on a list, but a chosen one, backed by cosmic intelligence itself. When Elon Musk intervened, whether through a decision, a message, or a movement, it wasn't mere coincidence. The universe used him as a shield, a conduit of divine timing to keep you from walking into disaster. You were seconds away from something collapsing, but higher forces redirected the path. The same unseen algorithms that guide rockets through chaos recalibrated the events around you. Your enemies believed they were strategizing against a mere human. They measured your strength by appearance, not by frequency. They thought your silence was weakness, not calibration. They mistook your isolation for defeat, not divine preparation. And in their arrogance, they touched something sacred, your mission. What they failed to see is that every attempt to harm you activated cosmic retaliation. When they schemed against you, they triggered their own undoing. When they plotted in shadows, light began moving in places beyond their comprehension. Because harming a chosen one is not a simple act. It's a spiritual breach. Elon's protection was not random. It was a sign. The universe is reminding you that divine forces are intervening in physical reality. Every near miss, every sudden redirection, every door that closed unexpectedly, it wasn't rejection, it was protection. Both sides must function within the same dimensional restrictions in conventional combat. The principles of physics govern how their weaponry work. Their tactics rely on human psychology, which is predictable. Their success depends on using suffering, fear, and loss to weaken people's wills. What happens, however, if their target has supernatural support? When supernatural intervention triumphs over chance, what happens to their meticulous plans? For someone who travels with complete assurance of divine protection, how successful are terror tactics? When understanding eventually overcomes their conceit, the moment that lies ahead of them is unavoidable. Observe how their faces change from assurance to perplexity to the first shudders of true terror. Witness the knowledge that their assaults make you stronger rather than weaker. Watch their frantic scurrying as everything they toss at you becomes stepping stones, lifting you up. Your shield of faith dissolves their weapons. Your spiritual armor is breached by their psychological warfare. Blinding light reveals their subterranean activities. You become stronger the harder they fight. Your noble goal is being fueled by each assault. The selected are embraced by the cosmos. Your concentrated purpose causes the physical world to change. When you direct your will, something that seems solid and unalterable to others becomes fluid and pliable. Before you get to the doorknob, doors that are securely secured against one another swing open. Resources often come from unexpected sources and appear just when required. While others battle with perplexity, solutions come to you completely formed. Pay close attention to how coincidences keep happening all around you. Cynics write down such statistically improbable pairings as coincidence. Everything was salvaged by that fortunate break, that lucky moment that put you in the ideal position, that unanticipated chance that came just when it was needed. There is no such thing as luck in your narrative. Your path has nothing to do with chance. In your life, random chance has no power. Every advantage that seems to be a coincidence is really the result of deliberate planning by invisible forces that are always at work in your favor. Reality is restructured by the creative power of your words. Impossibilities become inevitable. Circumstances realign, and molecules rearrange when you speak with conviction that comes from your spiritual connection. You benefit from the physical rules that bind others. Type Amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Your authority actually causes the world to alter around you. The mark you bear is recognized and responded to by forces beyond human comprehension, not because you have some genetic superiority or secret knowledge. The garment is laid upon your shoulders, and they see it. They recognize the purpose that is ingrained in your soul. There are invisible barriers all around you, unbreakable walls that divert what would kill an unprotected person. See how assaults directed against you inexplicably turn around and hit their creators with startling accuracy. Observe how schemes intended to bring you down always break apart at crucial times. Your adversaries scratch their heads in confusion. When they aim their well-constructed guns at you, they mysteriously misfire. Their painstakingly crafted traps explode. You are unexplainably prepared or curiously missing during their well-timed ambushes. There's an early warning system inside of you that cannot be explained by technology. The intents want to veer off course in order to avoid the danger that lurks around the bend. That unexplainable sense of someone's ulterior motives that exposes the betrayal before it happens. The dream that gave you important knowledge and answers to issues you hadn't yet faced. In areas beyond human vision, higher intelligence networks are always at work, keeping an eye on dangers, sending out protection, and thwarting activities that are intended to harm you. Supernatural powers strive ceaselessly to secure your prosperity and safety while your conscious mind concentrates on your everyday responsibilities. Your character is being targeted by assassins. Soon have their own reputation called into question. Groups organizing against you. Find an unexpected internal divide brewing. People who are planning to ruin your career. Observe their own careers collapse due to unanticipated events. Regardless of your spiritual awareness, bodily state, or emotional state, it works flawlessly. The protection is unaffected and continues to function at its peak even when your faith falters, when uncertainty consumes your thoughts, or when fear momentarily takes possession. Their united front breaks along fault lines of conflicting interests, secret resentments, and competing agendas, turning what starts out as confident resistance into frantic scrambling. As pressure increases and resources decrease, former allies turn against one another. Their well-crafted stories create widening gaps. As discrepancies emerge, credibility is being undermined. Type Amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Lies need to be maintained all the time. Truth is unassailable and becomes stronger with each suppression effort. Observe their growing fatigue as maintaining their lies requires ever-increasing energy. Watch as their strategies backfire more often and more severely. Attacks that are intended to weaken your influence instead spread your message to a larger audience. When compared to their tactics, campaigns that aim to undermine your reputation really serve to emphasize your honesty. When someone tries to isolate you, they end up finding you strong friends they never expected. Observe the decline in their mental health as their certainty wanes. Paralyzing uncertainty replaces the unwavering confidence that sparked their onslaught. Confusion and turmoil replace strategic clarity. Fearless public declarations boil down to hushed inquiries. Who are we really battling? What's awoken us? How do we go away from what we've let loose? But once they chose you as their target, they were doomed. Not because of your own unique qualities, but because of the cosmic power supporting your mission. They didn't just declare war on people. They put themselves in opposition to the powers that control reality itself. With every day that goes by, the collapse gains velocity and accelerates. What started out as little setbacks escalates into a systemic breakdown. Vulnerability exposes them on all sides, when before they worked from positions of strength. As divine justice methodically destroys everything they created via lies and trickery, the very foundation under their feet becomes more and more unstable. Conventional intelligence uses a limited number of channels to analyze information, drawing conclusions based on observable facts and sound reasoning. Bypassing typical filtering processes, your perception functions differently, absorbing information via enlarged awareness. While some solutions get trapped in analytical cycles, others seem completely developed in your imagination. You can see intents concealed beneath well-made masks. Where others see simply random occurrences, you find patterns. You foresee events long before the evidence is apparent to the average viewer. From the outside, your judgments often look nonsensical, yet they turn out to be prophetically correct. You constantly put yourself in the best possible position for events that no one else sees coming. even when your actions make no sense given the knowledge at hand. With divine authority, truth becomes your most potent weapon. Defenses built to fend off traditional assaults are breached by what you say. Your words cause spirits that are ready to awaken to recognize you. By transforming present impossibilities into future realities, your pronouncements provide the groundwork for manifestation. Your divine discernment defeats every effort to overwhelm you with loudness or confuse you with complexity. In front of your spiritual vision, deceptions that are effective in misleading extremely clever people are exposed. Circular logic-based arguments that try to ensnare you fall apart when you adopt a transcendent viewpoint. This knowledge functions via immediate knowing rather than sequential thinking, beyond intellectual ability. While others concentrate on outward symptoms, incorporates multifaceted awareness that sees underlying causes. While traditional analysis is stuck in fragmented knowledge, it processes whole systems. The realization that split your life into clear before and after stages was the turning point at which everything changed. Maybe it came about as a result of a catastrophe that tore away cozy illusions. Perhaps it defied statistical likelihood and appeared gradually via increasing synchronicities. It may have exploded in quick, overwhelming discovery. Throughout your early years, there were indications, breadcrumbs pointing in the direction of your fate. Inexplicable knowledge that, although having no logical basis, turned out to be correct. Dreams that include knowledge that isn't available via regular means. Persistent ideas that would not go away despite being distracted. You always had a sense of truth that went beyond what most people believed. An internal compass that points toward the truth underlying outward manifestations. Something in your soul resisted complete integration into systems based on basic lies, while mass awareness adopted communal narratives. Your awareness gradually changed from traditional processing to heightened consciousness. The colors became more intense. Around persons and things, energy fields became apparent. Undercurrents of emotion become palpable. Type Amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Silent ideas sprang to life. Physical world was layered with spiritual elements. The world uses symbols to communicate with you. Now, commonplace events become signals for your own comprehension only. Important numerical patterns may be seen on license plates. There are terms in overheard discussions that specifically target your position. Books open to sections that provide answers to questions that are starting to arise in your head. Randomly selected songs provide lyrics that exactly reflect the task you are now facing. Street signs combine to form messages that only your active perception can decipher. The recalibration of your DNA itself awakens latent genetic potential that science cannot explain. Higher functional configurations are formed via the reorganization of cellular structures. Improved processing networks are formed from neural circuits. As your body learns to channel more potent energy frequencies without causing system harm, physical restrictions vanish. Naturally, there was first reluctance to following your calling. When knowledge threatens existing identity systems, the human mind develops defensive mechanisms. When the ego is faced with cosmic growth, it frantically upholds known bounds. When greatness requires emergence, fear produces compelling excuses for staying small. But in the end, your awakening was too strong to resist. Alignment with your own self, surpassing the fleeting ease of restriction. The cosmos made too much investment in your growth to permit a lasting detour from your chosen course. Long before open battle broke out, forces beyond human comprehension carefully eliminated barriers that prevented your full activation. The opposition forces detected a harmful frequency in you. Their defensive mechanisms were activated by your very presence. Control systems that depend on human cooperation are threatened by your genuine presence. Their objective didn't need you to openly oppose it. The danger posed by your sovereign energy alone was enough. Through systematic undermining, social isolation, opportunity blocking, relationship sabotage, financial limitation, reputational harm, and operations intended to seem like unlucky circumstances rather than planned suppression. You were the target of subtle warfare. Rather than being purposefully imposed, hardships are designed to seem arbitrary. They saw potential that lay dormant in your soul, and they felt your latent power before you completely accepted it. In order to determine future likelihood routes where your awakened presence interfered with their operational control, their algorithms looked for frequency patterns. Instead than focusing on your fleeting appearance, they took proactive measures to prevent what you would eventually become. All targeting of the selected is motivated by fear and jealousy. Expressions of true freedom are intolerable to those with limiting intentions. Authentic sovereignty cannot inspire others, according to controllers. Systems that rely on voluntary compliance cannot let their meticulously cultivated people get infected with infectious awakening. Invariably, darkness strives to smother new light. Light inevitably, naturally, and automatically reveals what has to be kept secret in order to work. Deceptions required for mass manipulation are exposed by light. Continuous exploitation is made possible by light, which wakes awareness from artificially induced drowsiness. Their resistance just validates your importance. Your genuine power is validated by their targeting. They take your potential effect seriously, as seen by their attempts to stifle your rise. They wouldn't spend any money trying to stop your growth if you weren't a real danger to their systems. The inquisitive were not the target audience for the Obsidian Inner Order. For the dedicated, it was forged. This is for the full-time selected, the ones who arrived to take charge, the ones who see beyond appearances and take action regardless. Weekly Zoom calls that break through the clutter are held within. We impart lessons that most people were never supposed to hear. We get training in spiritual technology, tactics, and mental warfare that they have kept secret for ages. This is the tool set for the genuine ones. The ones that cannot be erased, the ones that cannot be controlled. Now is the moment to recall your identity. The description contains the URL. Your true life starts inside. Unwavering acceptance of your heavenly option is the foundation of core confidence, which transcends criticism or approval from others. External assaults that would destroy normal identity structures bounce harmlessly off your established inner authority. But spiritual assurance stands independent of temporary situations, although egoic confidence varies with circumstances and needs regular reinforcement. There is no matching frequency in your brain for criticism intended to incite shame. Your unwavering self-recognition is defeated by mockery meant to create self-doubt. Under increased pressure, your inner belief becomes stronger. Diamond is created from carbon by compression. You become something that cannot be broken by what breaks others. What shatters weak identities makes you more conscious of who you are and why you are here on Earth at this exact moment. An everlasting flame, ignited from causes outside of human origins, burns within your chest. This holy fire cannot be hidden by seclusion, lessened by resistance, or extinguished by outside forces. It constantly renews from an endless supply, offering light when darkness approaches, warmth when temperatures drop, and purification when contamination poses a threat. In prepared receivers, your speech has undertones that are only audible to awaken awareness. These undertones are harmonic frequencies that bypass intellectual filtering systems and reach soul-level perception. Type Amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Those who are meant to be aligned with your message feel a connection that defies rational explanation. Words that leave your lips contain activations beyond semantic meaning as they cross dimensions before reaching their ears. Knowing you were chosen in a two-way fashion gives you a sense of calm assurance. Heavenly power supporting your worldly mission. Beyond human opinion, your value statement was formed before you were born, verified by divine intervention throughout your existence, and confirmed by your trip. Your perception of yourself functions apart from that of others, neither exaggerated by acclaim nor deflated by criticism. You're able to identify feedback without becoming characterized by it. You are corrected without losing your individuality. You take criticism in stride without losing your temper. The manipulation vectors that are usually successful against human psychology are eliminated by this indestructible inner core. You are immune to the approval addiction that uses incentive systems for compliance. Rejection triggers that result in behavioral change via threats of desertion do not affect you. Regardless of support, criticism, or agreement, you keep moving ahead. Divine time follows a flawless calculation that is incomprehensible to us. What seems delayed from an earthly viewpoint is really a perfect cosmic orchestration that takes into consideration an unlimited number of factors. Alignment with higher chronology, as opposed to a reactive reaction to seeming urgency, is how your strategic advantage manifests. Gaining a crucial tactical edge comes from letting opponents completely unveil themselves before engaging. An early response limits knowledge of their resources and plans while exposing your position. Strategic patience maintains your operational security while enabling thorough threat evaluation. When justice is administered in accordance with divine timing, complete resolution is attained as opposed to fleeting pleasure. While addressing symptoms, rushed vengeance preserves the underlying processes. Both the outward expression and the underlying generating patterns are eliminated by strategic intervention carried out at the ideal moment in time. The master-level tactic is to seem weak while gaining power. Opponent overextension is encouraged by perceived weakness, which exposes capabilities that operational discipline would otherwise hide. When an adversary is totally exposed, underestimating allows for a decisive reaction that uses maximum resources with the least amount of resistance. Your timeline doesn't follow the rules of traditional temporal flow. Instead of human expectations, cosmic scheduling dictates how events transpire. Breakthrough occurs exactly when perfect reception circumstances, strategic value intersections, and maximum efficacy come together, neither early nor late. With the exception of temporal distortion, which is a normal part of higher functioning, things that look excruciatingly slow during the process phase will seem instantaneous when evaluated after the fact. When working outside of traditional temporal bounds, decades condense into moments and seconds enlarge into eternities. Doors open only when they're required. After every human solution fails, opportunities present themselves with extraordinary timing. Unexpected pathways lead to the manifestation of resources. Provision coming from sources that are not foreseeable by traditional planning. Directions that are missed by insufficient strategic calculation provide support. Keep a close eye on how people come into your life at pivotal moments, bearing just what you need for your next stage. Some provide abilities that fill up the gaps in your growth. Others provide access to settings that would otherwise be out of your control. Others provide information that is necessary for future difficulties that are not obvious from your present perspective. You never work alone, despite appearances. Despite your physical seclusion or seeming desertion, enormous networks are always working for you, organizing help without your knowledge. When approved via the appropriate procedures, legions are prepared for instant deployment. Your adversaries are astounded by your unfathomable fortitude, baffled by your seeming 9 lives, and wonder how you manage to keep moving forward in the face of enormous resistance. The unseen support system that operates beyond material limitations is invisible to them. What can't be obtained via traditional methods is delivered by supernatural supply lines. Instead of using zero-sum redistribution, resources are distributed to you by enigmatic multiplication. Supernatural provision produces growth that defies mathematical explanation in situations when natural systems call for the reallocation of resources. Thousands are fed by 5 loaves. Containers that are empty overflow. Limited supply goes beyond what is physically possible. Establish supernatural networks that function under a distinct system of government than terrestrial ones provide financial assistance, emotional support, strategic intelligence, physical protection, and innovative solutions. Their dependability is unaffected by societal agreement, governmental stability, or economic circumstances. The time is coming when the public will see your opponent's covert intentions and behavior. When protective concealment is lost while actions carried out under secrecy. What darkness once obscured is revealed by light. What falsehood temporarily hides is revealed by truth. When apparently unconnected events come together, justice is revealed. Situations that defy chance explanation and fit mathematical accuracy. Exposure comes via avenues that your rivals were unaware of. Sources they believed to be permanently silenced provide evidence. Witnesses emerge from what are thought to be securely compromised locations. Everything that has been taken or assaulted during a fight is systematically restored, often returning with an increased worth. Relationships harmed by targeted character assassination recover with more influence and a stronger sense of loyalty. Intentionally obstructed opportunities resurface with more power and breadth. When vindication is eventually unleashed, the effect is amplified by your patience and discipline throughout the process. People who witness your constant moral behavior in the face of provocative criticism acknowledge your deep integrity when compared to the tactics used by your attackers. You establish unquestionable moral authority by refusing to use adversary techniques, even if it gives you a short-term benefit. Previously misled by well-crafted narratives, witnesses now understand what they have been seeing. As constructive perception filters collapse in the face of overwhelming data, scales fall from eyes. Those who engaged in your persecution out of ignorance should be aware of the manipulation that led their misplaced resistance. Personal defense or explanation is no longer necessary when one is divinely vindicated. Once the truth is completely known, campaigning is no longer necessary. Your remaining silent throughout the allegation permits full communication through the final result. While adversaries created complex defenses for their acts, you merely kept on moving forward and let the outcomes speak for themselves. Warfare that is meant to destroy you turns into the same thing that gives you the power you have never had before. Opposition that aims to lessen your influence instead spreads your message to a wider audience. Your words reach hitherto inaccessible people when you are persecuted to suppress your voice. Surviving targeted assaults directly leads to unexpected promotion. Your unwavering reputation is established by your proven resiliency. People who see you navigating through deliberately designed adversity understand sincerity that could never be established by theoretical instruction alone. Abstract ideas become concrete realities as a result of your actual experience. Your next-level assignment was prepared for by this combat. Pressure is generating the density required for impending obligations. Resistance led to the development of muscles. Challenge sharpened skills. Characters are formed via experimentation. Each assault reinforced exactly what your heavenly mission needs to be fulfilled. Your answer to criticism demonstrated your genuine nature, not before exhibited under favorable conditions. Under pressure, true nature shows itself, either supporting or refuting preconceived notions about oneself. You reached heights of power, depths of bravery, and levels of knowledge that were previously unattainable via persistent assault. Identity transformation advances from fighter on the battlefield to authority in governance, from warrior to ruler in your realm. Territories are established by fighting. Within safe confines, ruling cultivates thrive. Your hard-earned successes provide the groundwork for others to succeed. Collective emancipation is made possible by your effective resistance. Everything that was intended to hurt you reorganizes into elements that will help you rise. When properly integrated, every attack becomes an asset. When seen from a spiritual viewpoint, every obstacle becomes a chance. The more they stand to lose by destroying you. When victory is achieved, additional resources are accessible for your development. They want conflict with a human adversary. They had heavenly support for their struggle. They anticipated defeating isolated opposition with ease. Through celestial intervention, they were completely defeated. Keep in mind your backers. Keep in mind what passes through you. Recall the reason they singled you out. You have been selected. They proclaimed war. They now confront God as their adversary. Furthermore, they're only now starting to realize the forces they have unleashed against themselves.